Hello, everyone. This is Reverend Jerry Hobby, and I am so happy to be with you this Sunday morning. I tell you, today is a glorious day. I know around me the sun is out, it's bright, the birds are chirping, and I'm just happy. I'm happy because we're experiencing May. And all I could think of before I got on the call is Mayflowers, Mayflowers. I think I'm going to change the picture, either myself or Kathy. We're going to be changing our picture on our Facebook page. So please go and check it out because we're going to be saying, Hello, May. And with that hello of May, we get an opportunity to embrace that which is true about life. So, our theme for the month is the seat of the soul. And with the seat of the soul, we get to reground ourselves and go back to basics. And May creates that wonderful opportunity, whether we are viewing the beautiful flowers or whether we're playing in the dirt ourselves and getting ourselves grounded. So I'm so grateful that we are together. Now, I want to remind you that this is a simulcast. It's for our prayer app. This is for the people that are on our Facebook platform and all the other social media platforms. We're sending this out to all of you, including those that are a part of our that subscribe to our e-blast, where we send you out stuff periodically, the best of the best. And today is also that time where we come together, and there's always at least one member of our leadership or more that is with us. And today we got our wonderful Catherine Redmond with us. Catherine, do you want to say hello to everyone?
Good morning, everybody. I am so glad to be with you this morning. I woke up and it's a nice, bright, sunshiny day here in New Mexico, and the wind stopped blowing.
Oh, wow.
So we can have just a wonderfully calm, beautiful day out. And I want to encourage everybody to download our prayer app called the Prayerful Heart if you haven't done it yet, because that is one place to go where you can put in a prayer request and you're going to get a response.
Absolutely.
You're going to actually get somebody is actually going to write you back regarding that matter. And we do follow up with prayer for a couple of weeks on that, and we just hold it in sacredness because it's coming from your heart, and we want your heart to heal.
Oh, I love that. And it is that we do want that heart to heal. And when we talk about heart, it's important for us to remember that when we heal the heart, we create a place of resilience. And that's very important during this time, that resilience. And not only does it create a space for resilience, it also allows for there to be coherence. And I'm talking about coherence within your body, because we may be moving through something now with our bodies. And there's been a lot that's been implanted about the seriousness of the time that we're entering into something new with COVID-19. There is this virus out there, and this virus is brand new. It's something discovered, and we're being told we need to respect it. In that process of respecting it, we get to learn and we get to grow and discover about it. And it is important that in our respect, we create a place of safety for ourselves as well as for humanity. That means every single person. So, regardless of the group you're in or you're part of, the thing is, you probably want that group to survive. But in order for that group to survive, that means that everyone must survive. So this is part of the unity of life. And if we're all breathing, that means that we're all a part of the unity of life. That's what I believe. And so behooves us to support this for everyone concerned, regardless of your background, your culture, your race, your your sexual orientation. It has nothing to do with any of that. It has only one thing to do with it, and that is life fulfilling itself. And I call it, now we get a chance to create a balance for humanity and our human ecosystem. What that means is we get to love and we get to bless each other. So I'm going to encourage you to, in your spiritual practice, to continue to keep us all in prayer. And I really love our theme this month, the seat of the soul. And I'll tell you why I love the seat of the soul. The seat of the soul supports us in really learning how to live and listen to our heart. And listening to our heart does require us to be fully engaged into the truth of being. And that truth of being starts within all of us. And it is very powerful. Every week you hear me tell the story about creation. And my story of creation may be a little different from the creation story you may have heard biblically or from your sacred text. Because when I talk about the story of creation, I'm just sharing with you what we know about the development of the wonderful human fetus. And the first thing that happens is the heart is the first part of our development. And from there, that heart, every single organ and every single cell is directed, and it is sustained by the heart. The heart is a very powerful thing. It can operate independent. It can also operate interdependently. So basically what it does is it supports growth. And part of that supporting of growth is being intuitively, I want you to hear this, intuitively aware. And in that intuitive awareness, what it does is it supports us and it sustains us in ways we know not of. It supports ourselves. It supports us mentally and emotionally. It is all a part of the total picture. And when we talk about heart and we talk about spiritual practice, they work hand in hand. That is the reason Ernest Holmes says, if I could do anything different, I think I would have spoken more about love. Because it is love that is the healing presence that is forever fulfilling itself. And it is love that we get to send into all of those places we in our human experience are unable to go. So as I'm sharing this with you this morning, I'd also like for Catherine to share a few things with you. Catherine, are you ready to share? Is there a reading or some thoughts you'd like to share?
Yes, there are a few I would like to share. First, I'd like to share this reading, and then I'll tell you why I think it was so appropriate for today. It says, I will praise thee, O Lord, with my whole heart. I will show forth all thy marvelous works. And then the reading is, the all-intelligent creative presence is the source of all that I am. I believe in the ability and the willingness of this great source to maintain its own creation. The kingdom and power and the glory of God is expressed through me. I organize myself to be a center through which this intelligence and power of this universe find expression. And I think that we all find, I think that we find that when, at least when I read this morning, this really brought it home that I get to express me and I get to express God everywhere I go and in everything that I do.
Yes.
And we, as people, should be mindful of that expression that we call forth in the world. And we should allow ourselves to be that shining light within that space and place where we physically are, that leaves behind not just a good thought or a good word, but a good vibration of God.
Oh, wow. I love that good vibration of God. And you know, the thing is, the heart is that thing that exists within all of us, and that heart can radiate and extend itself out into the world. Our heart and the vibration of our heart can influence the world. This is all a part. That's the reason I believe Ernest Holmes said that he would focus more on love. Actually, we have a book out. It's called Love and Law. It's not just enough to understand the laws of the universe. It's not just enough to know how to apply them, because you can be mechanical, you can be methodic in your application, but it will not yield you your highest and greatest good. Maybe perhaps it would yield you maybe a smidgen. I'm just going to say a smidgen of the infinite possibilities. And I'm going to say this, it applies to all of us. It doesn't matter where we're at in our life, whether we're the poorest person or the richest person in the world. We can open ourselves up to the infinite, and the infinite can expand itself. Ernest Holmes also reminds us, and this comes from 365 Days of Ernest Holmes, of Science of Mind. And it says, to understand our unity with God is the beginning of wisdom. To realize that we can express our divinity today should be the start of a conscious practice that will gradually conduct us to a greater and greater experience of life. Thus, we will demonstrate not only that an infinite good exists, but that it is now operating in our experience. This is the purpose and the practice of Science of Mind. Our consciousness of the indwelling spirit and the embodiment of its gifts bring us into dominion of good. And so for me, part of my response and where I'm tapping into in terms of wisdom right now has a lot to do with spiritual practice. And I'm leaning into wisdom of some of our leading I think I'm saying it right. They study epidemiology. These are doctors like Bruce Lipton. I would say he's a pioneer in this area. Joe Dispenza. And one of the things they're saying to us is, in all of our getting, get thou understanding. They're feeding us information about our personal ecosystem, our body, how it operates, and what we can do to shift and change that vibration that Catherine speaks of. Part of it has to do with our spiritual practice. And if we're engaged in that way, we create a space for good. So with that in mind right now, I'm going to invite you to just turn within with me right now. And I want you to just simply breathe. One of the wonderful things that are unfolding if you're watching television, I think one of the greatest gifts that we're being given right now is they have many commercials that come on, but there's the Calm app commercial. Some of our stars are advocates of the Calm. I think about LeBron James. But the favorite part of that commercial is inviting us to, I think it's for like maybe 15 seconds, to just simply practice calm. I want you to count to 15 silently within yourself. And just breathe. And as you're breathing right now, I'm going to invite you to just recall a moment, an experience of unconditional love. My unconditional love is my beloved four-legged daughter. Her name is Spirit Hobby. Her name was chosen with intention to represent the spirit of the divine that is alive within all of us. And when I'm feeling a little low, she becomes the practitioner of who she is. She comes and sits with me. She prays with me. When people are contacting me for support, she comes and she sits with me and she prays. This has been my experience from the beginning. When she was brought to me and she was told, this is going to be your mom. And we've been joined at the hip since then. What a wonderful teacher about love. You don't have to bargain for it. It simply is. You don't have to fight for it. It simply is. It is all there is. Love. And we can allow love right now to extend itself and move into all the areas we in our human experience are unable to go. Breathe with me. And let's allow that energy of love to anchor itself within our body temple. Allow it to create the path of healing. Breathe. Now, let's just allow the path of love to extend itself all around us within our circles of influence, our circles of affluence. We're just allowing love. So right here in this moment, I just speak names into this circle. I'm acknowledging it as our wonderful Patty Walton. I'm acknowledging it and knowing it is everywhere. Everyone that has requested prayer. I know it to be right where Del Maddox is. I know it to be where every single family member is. Just breathing. I acknowledge it. And know it to be the light of lights. I'm acknowledging it, knowing it to be that wonderful peace. It is the calm, right where our beloved Don is, Don Hobby. I'm acknowledging it as love in action. And we allow this circle of affluence to extend itself globally right now. And we allow for that energy to extend itself within every country. I know that it is that wonderful presence right here within the northern part of America, extending itself right now within the United States of America, moving beyond borders right now into Canada, extending itself and expressing itself within Mexico, moving beyond all the way down to South America and extending itself across the seas and touching every single continent, knowing that there is only love. And in this very moment, right here, right now, unified in this conscious awareness, what I simply know is that perfect good is the only presence that thrives, and it is the divine wisdom imparting itself, discerning itself, and revealing itself. I know it to be everywhere present, right where each and every single person is hearing this prayer right now. I know that it is in the growth of our food and the distribution of our food system. I know that it is divine wisdom and spirit working together for good, that there is a unity, there is a consciousness, and in this unity, I know that there is the spirit of cooperation and divine wisdom, moving and supporting everyone in a perfect way. I'm acknowledging that sacred presence right now, not only there, but everywhere, in every decision within our leaders. I know it to be present, and even those that have their personal opinions. But what I know is the spirit and the light of love prevails, and it is the spirit and the light of love that heals. It trumps over anything that is unlike itself. And what I know about that is there is the rising of the highest and the greatest good. And that highest and greatest good includes all of humanity. I know that there is sacred wisdom and sacred love. And that sacred wisdom and that sacred love is the divine essence moving and expressing itself in a dynamic way. So what I know is as we move beyond this experience right now, that wonderful blessing of spirit in action fulfills itself. that the voice of wisdom prevails, and that voice and the understanding of our scientists, our researchers, our doctors are alive and thriving. And it guides, it supports us because I'm acknowledging them as a vehicle and an instrument where the presence of the divine dwells. I acknowledge them as spirit in action, God fulfilling itself. Just as I know that there is a sacred listener at every point of reference for each individual here, I know it to be so for all of our leaders, our governance, and I know that it creates a space, a blending where there is coherence, where a family that lives, walks, breathes, and expresses itself together. I know it as the human family. I know it as peace, and I know it as good. So, in this very moment, right here, right now, I know and give thanks for the blessing of this wonderful presence, fulfilling itself in a practical way within our lives. And I simply release these words right now into the sacred yes. And together, we all affirm and we all say, and so it
is.
Amen.
Namaste, everyone.
Thank you.
And Ashe.
Thank you. I love you all. I'm not going to take too much of your time. I want you to pay attention because there's a lot of stuff going on. I want you to retool, and I'm going to invite you to join us for our Prosperity Plus 3 that is taking place. We're going to start on May 19th. We're going to help you retool in wonderful ways. Coming out of COVID-19, your lives have changed. You've learned a lot. I want to reinforce it because some of those things that we had to change and shift to are going to be part of our new norm. And this class will help you. You're going to become pretty savvy using tools like Zoom and different platforms that will assist you in your life, your growth, your prosperity, your health, and everything in between. So I'm going to invite you to join us for that. We have a couple other things that are coming up down the loop too. So stay tuned. If you're not a subscriber, go to seedfm.org and become a subscriber so you get the latest up-to-date information. Have a blessed day. Namaste.